There we go. Hello, welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a Sunday Stuff and Things. And on this Sunday Stuff and Things, we have stuff and things to talk about, including upcoming videos, things that you can look forward to on Stuff and Things and Working. We're going to talk about Pipe Force Episode 3, the Pilot Custom 823 pen, the Padron 2000 Natural cigar or burning stick. Lots of good stuff, some cool products I'm going to be showing you in some videos coming up soon. I'm going to talk about, I think, the most important issue facing this country, nay, the world, in 2024/2025. And then, of course, we'll get into your questions, comments, and feedback in hashtag askstuffandthings. So let's get into it. All right, gang, so what can you look forward to on Stuff and Things and Working? Well, this coming week, we will have the Blend Spotlight on Pipe Force Episode 3, Squid Face Man. His name is Marshall. So this was an interesting one. This is one, I'm going to spoil it for you already, but you should still watch the review. I like this. I think it might be my favorite of the Pipe Force series. I've only had 3 of the Pipe Force series, I believe. And I think the best might have been saved for last. So definitely check that video out. The week after that, we will have a long-term 9-year review of the Pilot Custom 823 fountain pen, one of my favorite fountain pens of all time. I've been using this a ton lately, and I absolutely love it. It's a really cool vacuum-filled fountain pen, so very unique. Well, it was more unique when it first came out, but I think a couple manufacturers have kind of copied it, but still very cool, very nice pen. After that, we will be talking about the Padron 2000 Natural, or Natural. Is it still amazing? It was my favorite burning stick when I discovered them several years back, probably 8 years back, 9 years back. Are they still as good now as I thought they were then? Then we're going to have a video featuring some really cool products sent to me by Dan from Good Made Better. We have this, the very hefty solid block of copper, which is the Penwell Classic, where basically you take a pen, this is my Lamy 2000, you shove it in like that. It would be secured to your desk through this little micro suction pad on the bottom and the weight. But basically, if you stick that in there, you have your pen available to you and you could just pop it in, uncap it, use it, pop it back. Very cool. Also, I was sent this, the Bookwarden, which is a very interesting product. I know it looks a little complicated with all this shot cord, these snaps, but basically it's a way of holding your books securely while you have them in a bag. So here I have Anabasis by Xenophon, or the Expedition of Cyrus, not in ancient Greek. I can't read ancient Greek. But you can shove this inside here, snap it closed, throw it in your bag, and you don't have to worry about bent up covers. Very cool. So I'll be reviewing these products as well. And then on Working, I think it's Working episode 40, and it might be a product review. I might show you the lunchbox that I have been using for work lately. It is the Engel 7.5 ounce dry box / cooler. Very nice lunchbox. And I just thought it would be cool to show you guys on there. So I might kind of mix in. Obviously, we do episodes where I'm showing you jobs that I'm doing in Working, but I might also mix in like, oh, here's my favorite hammer, or like cordless impact driver, or something like that. Things that I find very useful in my job. So stay tuned for that. Just lots of good stuff coming up on both channels. And if you have not subscribed to Working, do it. There's a link in the description box below, and it would be much appreciated. It's really good. I keep telling you, it's really good, and I want more people to watch it. So Working, link in the description box below. Thank you. So I've noticed something recently. I guess about the last week or so. I listen to a lot of different podcasts, some on the NFL, some on gaming, some on literature. And I've noticed a lot of people are prefacing their podcasts by saying something along the lines of, I know people are really upset right now, so let's talk about this to get your mind off of it. Or considering how horrible things are in this country right now, we'll talk about this so you don't have to think about that. Or I know you're all really upset about what happened, so we're going to talk about this instead. And I was wondering, what are they talking about? What is so upsetting? Why are these people so worried about the state of the nation? And so I started doing some research to try to figure it out, and I found out something about a presidential election involving someone named Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I don't know if you know anything about that, whatever. But there has been an issue that's really been affecting me, and I'm sure I'm not the only person. It's probably the most important issue affecting this nation, nay, the world. And that issue is fruit flies. Where do they come from? What do they want? Okay, I live in a very new building. I keep a very clean house. Let me tell you a little bit about this here. I clean every single week. Some might say that I'm slightly obsessive compulsive about the cleanliness that I demand of my personal living space. Every week I do a vacuum and a dusting, and by dusting I don't mean I get like a feather duster and shake it around and get the dust all floating in the air. No, I vacuum surfaces with a brush, with a vacuum hose attached to it, and then I take, a damp cloth and wipe everything down. I vacuum everything. Every other week I do a deep scrub of the bathtub, the toilet, all the sinks. I do a mopping of all the floors. I don't keep any food out, ever. There is no food left on the counters. I throw the garbage out every single week, and the garbage can is sealed shut. It's not just an open garbage can. I am impeccably, spotlessly clean, but I still have fruit flies. I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know what they want. There's nothing here for these little bastards. What are they doing? Now, I'm not talking about clouds of fruit flies wherever I go. It's basically like one or two that I might see every other day, and I'll be sitting there working at the counter or something, preparing a meal, and suddenly this little red, tiny fruit fly comes by, and I'm trying to smack it. They're so small that you lose them. So if they're against a white background, I can see it and I can get them. And they're not as fast as normal house flies. So usually I can get them, I can smack them. But then if they fly against something dark, I just totally lose them. And then I'm just waiting, like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it going to land? And it might land on the cupboard, or it might land near the sink. They're occasionally in the bathroom. Again, I don't know why. When I first moved in, I used to keep bananas, a couple bananas on the counter. So I get bananas that are fairly unripe because I want them to last a week. And so I stagger out. I keep most of them in the fridge, but then I'll take some out a couple days before I want to eat them so they have a chance to ripen. And I was doing that, and they weren't rotting. They were like hardly ripe, but for some reason, maybe that was attracting fruit flies. I don't know. So I stopped doing that. I still have them in the fridge, but then the ones I want to ripen, I wrap in a plastic bag that is sealed. Maybe they can still smell them, but they shouldn't be able to get any nourishment off of them. And then I don't even throw the peel in the toilet. I don't even throw the peel in the garbage. I have one every morning, and then when I'm leaving for work, I take the peel with me and I throw it in the garbage down in the dumpsters when I'm going down to my car. So I don't leave any banana peels in my garbage. Like I said, I throw the garbage out every week, but I still have fruit flies, and I don't know why. What are they doing? I know they live supposedly from like egg to death. It's about 50 days, but this has been months. And I don't know what else I can do to prevent them from spawning in my home. It is the cleanest place you could possibly imagine. No food is left out. Nothing is left to rot in the garbage. I don't leave moldy dish towels in the sink. Everything is spotlessly clean, and I don't know what's going on. I hate infestation. I cannot tolerate infestation. And it's weird because in the Pacific Northwest, there is hardly anything ever that you'll notice. You know, when I lived in Los Angeles, there were cockroaches. And I hated the fact that I might see cockroaches. I lived in an apartment with my then girlfriend, and I saw one cockroach, and I tore the frickin' place apart. I was taking off baseboards, I was spraying things everywhere. I was like, no, we are not doing the cockroach thing. And then later on, we got infested by these tiny little red ants that were about the size of the head of a pin. And they just started going everywhere, and again, I completely flipped out and just started killing them and trying to put poison everywhere. I finally blocked up all these holes and was spraying all their little areas. And then for several days, we didn't notice any, but then when I was in the kitchen, suddenly they started just like falling on me. I didn't know what the hell was going on. And they had gone and infested this globe light fixture that was above. They had moved the whole colony into there. No. And I'm not squeamish about bugs. I'm not afraid of bugs or insects at all. I don't care about them crawling on me, whatever. It's just they cannot live rent-free in my home. They are not allowed in my home. Once they are in my home, they are going to be killed, usually. If I see a big spider, I'll usually capture it and put it outside. But I've never seen any spiders in here. It's the fricking fruit flies. I can't take the fruit flies. But usually in the Pacific Northwest, I've never once seen a cockroach in the Pacific Northwest. I know they must exist, but I've never seen one. I never see really anything infesting inside homes. Maybe in an old house, you'll see some earwigs or some silverfish. We lived in a house once that got infested by wasps when I was a child, so that was that kind of sucked. But typically, it's not like when I lived in Oklahoma or LA in the past. Like those places were crawling with bugs inside homes. Pacific Northwest, usually not that bad, but these stupid freaking fruit flies, I hate them, and they are the most important thing, I think, to the country and probably to the world, at least in my opinion. All right, gang, but now it is time for hashtag askstuffandthings. Remember, if you have a question for me and you would like it answered on the Sunday Stuff and Things, tweet at SATBradley with hashtag askstuffandthings, and I will do my best to answer you on the next Sunday Stuff and Things. You can also write to me via Patreon. If you are a Patreon supporter, go right to the front of the line, hit that super thanks button under this video, go right to the front of the line, or leave questions, comments, and feedback in the comment section of my YouTube videos, just like at Smoking Hot Scott did for last week's Sunday Stuff and Things. He says simply, back on butt rock again. Yes, I was last week. I'm not this week because it is raining pretty hard. And it's probably going to be raining all weekend, which sucks because I want to get out and take pictures. At Corbin Bourbon 1194, good to hear from Corbin Bourbon, seeing the duck's fluorescence in the sun like that is incredible. So if you didn't watch last week's video, I was showing you some pictures I took from Whatcom Creek at Maritime Heritage Park because the chum run was going on. I think it still might be going on. And I was looking at some mallard ducks, and yeah, they have gorgeous plumage. At Smashing Artful said, really enjoy your photos. Thank you. Check out that episode if you haven't yet. At Cranberries Lover says, hey Bradley, just out of curiosity, have you played Echoes of Wisdom? Also, I'm looking forward to your review of the Pilot Custom 823. I've had mine for almost a year, and it's been inked ever since. So check out the original review if you haven't checked that out already. And then this review that's coming up is my, what was it, 9 years? It's been a long time since I've had this thing. Yeah, and it's one of my favorite pens ever. Echoes of Wisdom is the new Legend of Zelda kind of spin-off game that came out for Nintendo Switch. It was not made by Nintendo. It was made by a third party or a second party. I haven't played it. It looks interesting. Probably won't play it because I'm just not really playing video games right now. I just haven't been into them for quite some time. I think I'm just not that happy. I think I play video games when I'm happy. So I haven't really been playing video games. The only one I have been playing is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. So that's been fun on PS5. At Tom Brown 1898 says, Bradley, as you speculated, Maple Shadows is officially unobtainable. So Maple Shadows 2. But it definitely raised my curiosity. Sutliff has some bulk teas that combined properly might serve to recreate the blend. Their Dark Fired is moderate in nicotine with a very companionable flavor. They have several maple blends, all agreeable. Think I'll get some and try my hand at blending once more. As far as materialism goes, the philosophical ideal of materialism, the other day the idea of luck popped into my head. I really don't believe in it to the degree that the possibility of its existence was... to the degree that the possibility of its existence would factor into any decision I would make. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I don't believe that things are predetermined, but hey, sometimes you get lucky. Great episode today. Yeah, determinism is interesting because you might almost say that if you believe in a scientific view of the world, that determinism is almost the only system you could believe in. And I think we automatically reject that, or we rebel against it as human beings because we want to believe we have free will. And in my heart, I do believe we have free will, but then when I think about it intellectually, I don't know, that's too much to get into that right now. But yeah, determinism, interesting. At Zigmeister67 says, New Jersey, where I live, averages 45 inches of rain a year. Haha, I thought Washington would have 100. That's funny. They've convinced us Washington is swimming in rainfall. Yeah, so I was mentioning the stereotypes about Pacific Northwest weather last week. Where I live, Bellingham, Washington, which gets more rain than Seattle, we still average only about 39 inches a year, and places like the Zigmeister just mentioned, New Jersey, get 45 inches every year. New York gets more, Chicago gets more. A lot of places on the eastern seaboard get more rain than the Pacific Northwest does. So why is the Pacific Northwest considered this dark, rainy place? And I think it's because overcast days. We lead the nation in overcast days, not necessarily in rainy days. And then at the New Media of the Dawn says, cool, yeah, I passed a salmon run September 12th, Port Hope, Ontario, middle of the rural city on the way home from work. Middle of a rural city. Chinook and coho stocked from the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, I didn't know you guys had Chinook or coho over there. Pacific Northwest years ago. Unbelievable what odds they go through, but I guess enough make it each year hard to believe. Yeah, and I've been going whenever I have a chance to the salmon run at Whatcom Creek. And it's just so cool that, I mean, Bellingham is a city. It's not a big city, but it's got over 100,000 people and then over 200,000 or 300,000 in the municipal area. And it's this fairly raging torrent that goes through the middle of the city. And you can just walk down in there, and there's salmon, there are, great blue heron, there are deer, there are ducks and waterfowl. It's just cool to have it right in the middle of the city. And then we have some feedback on the Cordobes Chelsea boots review that I posted last week. This is from @Robbie7441. Nice boots, not my style, but nice. I agree about the Vibram, would make a huge difference. Yeah, and I am liking the boots. You guys should watch that box opening first impressions video that I posted last week. They are very reasonably priced for pretty much handmade, traditionally made leather boots. At Tom Brown 1898 said, Bradley, as you know, I'm not a boot lover, but I appreciated your disquisition on shoe lasts. My perfect fit is a 10.5 E with a C heel. It used to be a common last, not anymore. The only make I know of that still uses that last is Allen Edmonds, which are now above my pay grade. I dread having to buy a pair of shoes because it takes forever to find something I like that actually fits. Good show today. Alden might have something too, but they're even more than Allen Edmonds. And then the traditional Pacific Northwest boot makers will probably offer a last like that, but you have to pretty much buy. They don't do shoes. They will do boots, and they'll do things that aren't as necessarily as beefy as like a logging boot or something, but they're kind of traditional heritage boots. I don't think you can find shoes from those guys, and they're very expensive. At Michael Jones, 470 says, or 9470 says, just ordered some engineer boots from Cordobes. Can't wait to see them when they come in. I keep hearing good things about the company for the price point. Yeah, let me know. I hope you like them. And then at Scully McKnight NG1KG says, gave you a free belt so you could trash them? Skull emoji. So it wasn't like they included a belt for free with my order. They sent me 2 products to review, the Cordobes Chelsea boots and then the belts that they offer. Their belts are $60. They're $59 on their website, and I just thought it was really floppy. I like a firmer belt, so I will review that belt when the time comes, when I do the full review of the boots. First impressions, though, it's just too thin. I want a good, like, 7-8 ounce leather for a leather belt, and that is barely even 4 ounces, maybe. It's just a very thin, floppy belt. Doesn't seem like it would do much. All right, gang, thank you for that feedback. Please keep it coming in. It really helps make the show go. But now it is time for the very best part of the episode, and that is where we thank our Patreon supporters. Gang, if you would like to support the channels on Patreon, it would be much appreciated. It's basically the only way that I can keep doing this. There is a link in the description box below to our Patreon page if you want to jump on with $5. That would be fantastic. It helps pay for all the equipment that I use for recording these episodes, for the products, many of the products that I get in for review, and also just helps offset a lot of the time that I put into making these reviews. You're keeping us afloat by supporting us on Patreon. So if you like what I do, link in the description box below, and I will keep the videos coming. But if you support the channels at $25 or more a month, you will be a producer of this show, and you will get a shout out every week. Just like Glenn Dunnington, Jason Buckner, Arcturus, Ashes of the Phoenix, Jonathon Proctor, Charles Mowers, and the Friendly Piper. Thank you. And of course, there is the Maniac tier, the crazy people who support the channels at $100 a month, people like Bob Magee and Ryan McFadin. And we'll never forget our dearly departed friend and award-winning author, Hall of Fame member, Peter Straub. Yeah, gang, your support means a lot on Patreon. You also get episodes of the Stuff and Things show early and ad-free every single week. So thank you very much for your support. Thank you all so much for watching. Please stay tuned for all the good stuff coming up on the channels, including Pipe Force Episode 3, Blend Spotlight coming up this week. Week after, Pilot Custom 823 long-term review. Padron 2000 Natural, is it still amazing? Good made better products, very clever, interesting things for the reader and writer out there. Working Engel 7.5 ounce cooler dry box review. Many things coming up. Please stay tuned, but until next time, until we meet again, I've been your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience that's been Stuff and Things on a Sunday Stuff and Things. I'll see you later. Damn those fruit flies, and have a good week.